Welcome to Grapes and Debates, a podcast where we'll uncork some incredible wine and debate varietals of issues within the restaurant industry, one glass at a time. Complex, yet delicate to be sure. And now, your hosts and owners of SoNapa Grille, Adam Barringer, Chris Botting, and Joe Bates.
Welcome. Episode 14 of Grapes and Debates.
Grapes and Debates.
Grapes and Debates.
I like it.
All right. My name is Adam Barringer. I am the founder of SoNapa Grille, and today I am not with my business partners, but I'm with my stepson, Colby Sumner, at Gettysburg.
Yeah, man. This is the America Fog of War studio set. So
this is your...
This is our... We haven't even recorded an episode in here yet.
Oh, this is awesome.
This is our first time filming down here. You guys, Grapes and Debates gets to break it in.
Grapes and Debates. I know it's not the typical backdrop that we have, but as with every episode, we're going to start with our grapes, and I've picked two wines.
Okay.
Specific for this.
I feel like you picked
Marine.
one. I feel like you picked one because I have a good story about it.
We've got two.
There's one that's got a really good story about it.
I know. No. All right. So, and on the very first episode, I opened a bottle of wine. Oh,
no wine key?
We're missing a wine key. Someone took the wine key.
Wait, we got someone.
Okay.
We have someone fishing it out right now.
Okay. We're missing one of our
There's a
key
cork
props.
on it. There's a cork on it still.
I know. All right. Oh, here's our sound technician coming in with a prop. All right. You know what? We're going to start with Duckhorn.
All right.
So
Let's
Duckhorn, one of...
It's a visit I remember vividly.
No, you do. You do remember that vividly. So we're going to start with the Duckhorn Napa Valley Cab. This is a beautiful, beautiful bottle of wine. The very first episode we did, I opened a bottle of wine and I botched it. I botched it fucking completely. This one,
You're going to get it just right. That's how these shows go, though, man. You know, we've been doing our show now for we're going on 3 years. And if I would have known then all the things that I have learned through trial and error by now,
right?
I'd have a mega show in a year. But it's a learning process, just like anything. You know, there's so many variables that you don't even know to account for. Like, make sure you get the wine bottle open correctly.
Yes.
All right, now.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with Duckhorn. Again, we have on our menu right now, we've got the Duckhorn Merlot. We also have one of their other labels, the Decoy, also Merlot. We had the Cab on there for a while, but we've switched it out for some other wines. You're really not a wine drinker.
I'm not. And it's a shame too because of your restaurants and my mom and yours interest in wine. I feel like I want to. It's like sushi. I want to like it really bad. My wife loves sushi and I don't like seafood. I want to like it really bad, but
that's all right.
I don't
like sushi.
You know, it's one of those things. You like
right.
What's that saying you were telling me in Latin?
De gustibus not espetentum.
You like what you
like.
like.
You like what you like.
There you go.
Well, knowing that though, we did go to Napa Valley this year.
Yep.
We went in September.
And it was a great trip.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. So I had a great time. I drank everything that was put in front of me.
Right.
Like I was supposed to.
What happened?
I caused some ruckus. I think me and the lady from Duckhorn just didn't hit it off. You know, from the get-go, I think there was just a little tension there.
You showed up late.
I showed up late. I was talking to my wife while she's trying to give her a presentation. In my defense, dude, I was trying to ask if there was any more what's that coffee cheese that we like so much? Barely Buzzed. I was trying to ask about the Barely Buzzed. So it was for a good reason.
Okay.
But
well, that was part of it.
Duckhorn was probably the most unique of the tours. Meaning because it was not like any of the other tours. It was very structured corporate feeling.
Classroom.
I felt like I was on the receiving end of a sales pitch the whole time, kind of.
Right.
Which I get it. They're a business, whatever, they're doing their thing. But the lady given the thing did not appreciate me talking during her spiel.
No, she didn't. I think she told you to shut up.
So I mean, basically, I think verbatim, she looked at me and goes, "Can I finish?"
She did.
All I could do was laugh. My bad.
Yeah.
You called me out.
So anyway, Duckhorn, but Duckhorn, the wines were good.
Well,
the property was beautiful.
The property was beautiful. The grapes were good. But I will say, maybe it was that experience that like tinted my taste buds. But they were my least favorite of all the ones we went to.
Wow, and that's saying something.
We went to a lot.
We did,
but they were all really good. You know, so it's like picking who's the worst in the All-Star team.
Right.
So
that's. I don't know. I guess that's good, right?
See, that's fine. That's fine. If I had to drink wine at dinner, I would never. I'm gonna be honest. I'm never gonna order it. Right? I'm never I'm ordering.
Don't say
vodka.
never. Don't say never because your taste buds are gonna change.
My taste buds will change, but like right now, I'm not ordering that.
Right.
I'm ordering vodka or something else. But if I'm in a setting where this is what we drink, that's what was put in front of me, or that for whatever reason this is what I'm drinking, I could drink that all night and be very happy about it.
Yeah. Well, it's a damn good bottle of wine.
It is good, man. I mean, you can't, and they're such a popular brand. Like they have such a vast market, so they can hit the really expensive wine buyers, and they can hit the the people that are like, I don't want to spend more than $20 on my wine.
Sure.
They have something for everybody. They're a very famous brand. They're everywhere, and so I had heard of them before we went to their to their vineyard. But I could drink that. I could drink that all night long.
Well, you have to.
I'm going to. I mean, I can't waste it.
No, and you have to drink it before we get to the next one.
I'll get it done.
Okay.
Don't worry, dude.
You're making me nervous.
I forget all the things that we learned though, because they're teaching you things about how when you do this and when you smell it and what you're. I don't remember any of that.
That's all right. Even if I told you, you wouldn't remember it. It's not going to make the wine any better right now.
No, I'm drinking it. It's just good. It's good as is. You know what? Where did that cup of ice go?
Right here.
I think listen, I might be because I'm not a wine drinker, but I like cold drinks.
So one of our very first episodes, we talked about putting ice in your wine. And again, some people like to drink it warm at room temperature. Room temperature is different in Florida than it is in New York.
It's a lot different in Florida.
I put ice in my wine. And people think that's fucking crazy.
That's why I didn't feel bad about doing it now. If you do it, I feel like I can get away with it.
Oh, yeah. You can.
But
So then there's really, grapes and debates. We debate certain things, but there's no debate that your least favorite tasting was...
Out of that trip.
Because
I would say that they're better than some of the other wines I've tried from like the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years, know. But out of that trip, they were my least favorite.
Right.
And it's
what
funny
was your favorite?
Because you have my favorite right next to them. I loved Frog's Leap. I thought they were first off, I don't remember her name, but the lady that gave us the tour of Frog's Leap was
awesome.
She was so cool, dude. She was taking us to see things that I'm pretty sure are not part of the typical tour. We got to go in and look inside the fermenters,
tanks?
like the big tanks. We met the owner. He let us try
John Williams.
He let us try. His son let us try wine that came out of some of the fermentation tanks. So it was a really cool experience. She was a lot of fun, and everything they put in front of me that day. It could be like the experience kind of clouding my judgment on it because it was so much fun. But everything they put in front of me that day, I enjoyed thoroughly. To the point where my wife drinks wine. She's always wanted me to drink wine with her, and I never do because it's not my thing. But after that trip, I believe it was you and Mom sent us a few of their rosés, and we drank all of them together. I'll drink that with her. Frog's Leap, I enjoyed that. And I wouldn't do it every day. I wouldn't if we had a 3-day weekend. I wouldn't drink it every day in a row. But for something special,
rosé, I think maybe today might be Rosé Day. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know rosé had a day.
Oh, it does. National Rosé Day.
Well, cheers to rosé.
Cheers. Should have had that on the podcast.
I know. Well, we got something close though. This is
we have the Red Zinfandel.
Close.
So I can't wait to dive into that. I would say we went to 53 different wineries in the month of September. Me
with you.
No.
You guys on your trip.
Right. We went to probably about 9 or 10, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to 53. And of the 53 tastings that we did, Frog's Leap was in the top 3. Because
what were the other two?
I don't know. I mean, it was no. Ghost Block was amazing.
Well, you guys talked about Ghost Block the whole time.
Amazing.
You talked about that the whole time.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think. There were so many great tastings. When you're in Napa and Sonoma, I mean, there are great tastings. And I'm going to bring this up because we're in Gettysburg, PA right now.
Okay.
And there are many wineries around this area.
There's a lot.
And we just went to Niagara Falls, and we went to Niagara on the Lake, and we passed a bunch of wineries up in Canada.
A ton. Which I don't know anything about growing grapes. I don't know anything about the winemaking process, but it is kind of interesting that you think a place that gets as cold as it does here, and as cold as it does in Niagara, can harvest grapes. It's very interesting to me.
Well, I did order a wine when we were in Canada, and it was Inniskillin Pinot Grigio. Inniskillin is the brand or the winery. And then I had a Pinot Grigio, and I don't typically drink whites. I just couldn't imagine what a red would taste like up there. And the white was definitely more acidic, and it's probably because it doesn't get as hot, so the grapes don't get as plump and juicy. I don't know.
Different climate. I will say that the wines around here, and I haven't tried a lot of them. There's a pretty popular winery called Adams County Winery.
We had talked about going there.
I mean, they're all over the place in town, but I think their wines are typically, I don't think this is across the board. That's not fair because I haven't tried everything they make, but I do think typically they're on the sweeter side of things.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they add.
But there's a lot of, it's not just PA though, like all the way down through Maryland and into Virginia, like Northern Virginia, there's a ton of vineyards.
Yeah.
When we first moved up here, my wife and I stayed in an Airbnb. The first month we lived here, we were shopping houses, and we were in the middle of when I say the middle of nowhere, you guys saw it. We were out in the middle of nowhere, and there was 3 different vineyards next to us. So they are all over the place. But I do think that typically I think the East Coast in general, in my experience, I think the East Coast in general is just going to be sweeter. It's going to taste more sugary, more fruity, like. Whatever you get that.
I can tell you can say anything you want on this podcast. We make shit up. I have no idea about wines on the East Coast because I only drink wines from California.
That's what I've gathered though. Like from what I've tasted of it, and then Taylor's always trying different stuff, right? And she's not as committed to Sonoma County, Napa Valley as you guys are. She's more, she finds wines that she likes, and they can be from anywhere. But she will say that was sweet, that was dry. This gave me a headache. She tells me about this stuff and everything she's drank sweet. From
you
here.
You got to finish that.
You got to finish that too. Did you already pour a second one?
Yeah, this is my Frog's Leap.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a wine drinker.
No, I'm going on to that one next. I'm going to the Duck. I didn't go to the Duckhorn.
I feel like you bored me more.
I did. But I started with my stage wine.
Which is, Rodney Strong.
Well, yeah, it was just to get me warmed up,
So you skipped this one.
I haven't had that yet, but I'm going back to it.
Well, no wonder you drink it so fast. It's your favorite wine. No wonder you drink it so fast.
But the Zinfandel this tends to be a little bit sweeter.
But I think from what I remember on the trip. So I remember trying Zinfandels. I remember trying rosés and all these. And a white wine, which is a thing that I don't really like red wine. I really don't like white wine because it typically, anytime I've ever tried it, it's been super buttery. And I don't like that flavor. I will say everything that I tried that was white, like white wine out there, was very good.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot of butter. It was very dry, which I noticed with the white wines, I like a more crisp, dry.
A Sauv Blanc.
Yeah, I like
a rosé.
Yeah, I like the crisp, dry feeling. I don't if it was a cider, right? The same thing with ciders. I don't like sweet ciders. I can drink a crisp, not sweet cider and be good. But from what I remember, even their sweet stuff isn't sugary sweet.
No.
It's more of a, it's honestly, it's the nuanced flavors. You can get hints, little nuances of this is sweet, this is. This is doing this. I just get a very little taste of this fruit or whatever. But if they don't tell you what it is before you sip it, you're never going to, I would never figure that out on my own. But
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll try to get this down a little quicker. My apologies.
No problem. All right, so that's the grapes portion of this.
What are we going to debate? I've kind of been curious as what you're going to bring out as it, because I feel like we line up a lot.
No, here's what we're debating. When I told you we're going to debate something, you said on your podcast, what do you say about the American fighter?
Well, it's the American warrior, and
okay, the American warrior.
And it's not just on one part. That's what I clearly believe. I try to make it the point. It's the point of our show. Is I believe the American warrior is the greatest warrior the world has ever known.
And why is that?
I believe that there's no other warrior that has existed that can fight an enemy as viciously, as dominantly, and as morally than the American warrior. You know, past, present, future. I don't think there will ever be a nation that puts the value of human life as high. I don't think there's any warrior that will sacrifice as much. And I don't believe there's another warrior that's ever been as tactically sound. You could go back to the samurais, you could go back to the Mongols, you could go back to, you name it, the Romans. None of them can share in the legacy. They're all envious of the legacy of the American warrior. We have things like D-Day, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, our revolution. We defeated the strongest military in the world, and we were a startup. And everything that we fight for the most part, is morally in the high ground. When you look at wars, especially wars we've gotten involved in other parts of the world, but you can look internally too. Our greatest and most costly war we've ever fought is the American Civil War, and that was over a very moral subject. So
that's not what we're debating, though.
Okay. Well, you asked me, and I elaborated.
And that was really good. You really did elaborate. So then the debate would be, for me, if the American warrior, what you're saying is the greatest warrior ever, I'm saying the American vintner out of Sonoma or Napa are the greatest in the world.
Wait. So my argument's different than yours, though, because you're excluding like 49 other states.
That's okay.
But you want to narrow it down to a state.
I just did, and I'm just saying that.
But I wouldn't say that the best warriors come from California.
No, I at this point,
maybe.
No. I don't know what I would say.
I think if we had to narrow it down, I'd say Texas has that in the bag.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to say the best thing out of California is the wine.
I wouldn't argue that. Okay. I can't argue that. I mean, I don't. But I will say, I'm not opposed to trying. And I always am trying wine because I always want to like it. I think that really is where it circles back to. My whole family likes it. I want to be in that club, But my taste buds just, it doesn't happen. But I'm always trying it. And out of everything over all the years that I've tried, I like Sonoma County and Napa Valley wines the best.
Boom!
So
it wasn't much of a debate. I had to pull it out of you.
No, and if it's from America, it's automatically going to be the greatest in my eyes. Okay. Because, listen, it's all right to think your country is the greatest in the world.
It is, yeah.
Especially when it's America.
Right. You know what? That's almost like a boom. Drop the mic on that one.
Drop. So I think I have sound effects I can put in later.
Oh, really?
We can make a bomb drop.
Well, for the grapes portion, we sampled some Duckhorn, beautiful Cabernet. Almost. Actually, I haven't had it. Frog's Leap Zinfandel to me was definitely fruit forward. Fruit is riding in the front seat.
I haven't tried it. This one's really dry. I'll say that Duckhorn's very I've got fuzzies in my mouth.
Yep. And then we debated the American warrior being the greatest warrior the world has ever known.
I think we stated it. I don't think
well, you stated it. You're right.
We stated that.
But I didn't want to go against maybe the Vikings or
listen. I could.
Or Genghis Khan.
Do you really want to crack the lid on this?
Because I can. No,
I can go down. No, if you get it going, I will not stop until you believe what I have to say.
No, listen. You convinced me. I'm not debating it, but it was a good segue from being a Marine and your background with your podcast, America Fog of War, and then to say the American vintner the American vintner from Sonoma County, Napa Valley, from Northern California, I believe, puts out the greatest wine in the world. And again,
I'll back you up. I will say the steel worker from Pennsylvania, the automotive repairman from Michigan, the wine, the vineyard owner in California, the theme park owner in Florida. Everybody, every area has their thing, right? Like Florida's is tourism, 100%. You can't argue that. It's so restaurants, theme parks, attractions. Back in the day, Michigan was auto working, right? Back in the day, Pennsylvania was steel working. Mm-hmm. California has been rocking wine since the beginning, and everybody is good at what they do. And I do think this plays into a thing. I think that's why. I think that sheds light on why I think the American warrior is also the greatest warrior, because everybody from where they come from might not have the same job description or the same goals as far as career goes, but they do have one thing in common. They want to be the best at what they do because it's their work. That seems to be a theme in American work. And you can trace this to other countries, but specifically here, I think it has to do with moving west. I think it has to do with like trying to survive in an already dangerous environment. And then if your business doesn't succeed, you just... you fall into a life you don't want to be in, or you don't have much of a life. But I think that all plays into it, and I think every state has something that they're great at. I think California's wine has to be in that conversation.
For us, it is.
Yeah, wine and movies. I mean, that's what California does. Wine and movies.
No. Listen.
Well, I'm not giving praise.
We ain't going to the movie thing now.
But I'm talking about from a historical sense.
Yeah, historical.
So the everything that's come out of Hollywood the last 20 years might be trash, but the 60 before that are phenomenal for the most part. Everybody has something they're great at.
Right now you're getting down.
It's into wine. It's wine and movies.
Let's just say it's wine.
I think this is our debate.
This is the debate. Yeah. All right.
This is our debate. I think it is.
All right. Well, I'm just glad that we got you drinking wine.
You're gonna get me drunk on wine, and then I'm gonna have.
You haven't even started.
I feel like I drank half the damn bottle.
No, you didn't. You had one glass. I think it's what's in your off-stage glass. That looks like vodka.
It is. It is vodka.
No,
but I cleared
try
it
the
out.
Zinfandel.
I've been wanting to try this the whole time. This is my favorite one.
But when I say it's still dry compared to sweet wines that Cherie drinks, right? barefoot sweet wine, but try that. It's sweeter than the Duckhorn. What you're gonna find. Oh, you don't even know what you're smelling.
I don't know.
Fucking
You're gonna hate me. I can't taste the difference right now.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I'm too drunk or not drunk enough.
Oh man. I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Colby, thanks for being on episode 14 of Grapes and Debates. And the little known fact, your birthday is on the 14th. So
today is the 14th, right?
No, today's like the
11th,
7th or 9th or 11th.
It's the 11th.
Oh, it's the 11th.
It's the 14th.
No, but your birthday is on the 14th. This is the 14th episode.
Hey, I'm glad I got to come on. Also, I'm proud of you. Starting up this kind of stuff is not easy. There's a lot to learn. It's a big undertaking. And but educating people on the thing you're passionate about.
Sure.
That's what this is about. I'm passionate on history. You're passionate on wine. Dude, you know what? We could get together and do a wine history podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Look
wow.
You get me drunk.
The wheels start turning. All right.
Thanks for having me on. It was fun. Cheers.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Grapes and Debates, presented by SoNapa Grille. For more information, visit us today at sonapa.com.